Hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. Today I want to talk about inspiration because this is something that every INFP feels. The ups and the downs, the highs and the lows of inspiration. Now if you think about the way inspiration feels when it comes to you, you feel on top of the world, you feel in your power and you feel like you can conquer everything. But if you think about the lows of it, it's basically melancholy and anything else negative that you can associate it with. Before I begin my video, I just want to say please excuse any background noise that you may hear. My lovely son is just playing with toys next to my feet. So, yeah. Now, I want to go ahead with explaining the psychology behind INFP and our stacks when it comes to inspiration. Now, in front of you, you can see a lovely little arts and craftsy thing that I completed at my day spring group. As some of you know, I have postpartum depression and I go to a group for people who suffer with postpartum mental disorders such as postpartum depression, anxiety, psychosis, etc. And I kind of decided to get a little bit creative and write it down instead of, just doing it on the computer or whatever. So I want to explain to you each function that we have and how it relates to inspiration. So INFPs base everything they do off their moral code and their innermost values. They constantly seek situations which align with these ideals and feel in their power when they are able to most efficiently express them. When they remain true to themselves in this manner, then will they continue to discover who they are and what their purpose is, the INFP's ultimate goal. FI is the seed to inspiration. Now, for our auxiliary function, which is extroverted intuition, the world and its vast possibilities, including the ones yet to be discovered, are the INFP's playground. NE gives the INFP the ammo to express themselves and discover new and original ways which align with their core values, working hand in hand with FI. Because of this, the INFP becomes an unstoppable force. When NE truly kicks in as the INFP unveils the absolute mean to express their FI. This is and translates to inspiration. NE is planting the seed. Moving on to our tertiary function, which is introverted sensing. SI deals with memories, data, and internal senses. When an INFP is stimulated by new possibilities, SI will compare the INFP's current surroundings to those possibilities. The INFP may then find a better alternative to expressing their values, leading to unfinished projects. A strong SI will help the INFP stop making the same mistakes, reminding the INFP that learning from mistakes will help them achieve their ambition. SI is putting the correct fertilizer on the soil where the seed has been planted. And now moving to our inferior function, which is extroverted thinking. TE deals with connecting the dots and putting the theory of FI and NE into practice. TE is planning, structure, and organization of the project and the responsibilities of reality. Developing a strong TE will result in the INFP moving from A to B in an efficient and logical manner. Projects will always have their challenges in which a developed TE can tackle these otherwise inhibiting factors in a realistic and adept fashion, allowing productivity and successful results. TE is tending to the seed, giving it the resources to grow into a flower. Now, if you think about our first two functions, which are introverted feeling and extroverted intuition, those two are basically what lead us and are what empowers us. This is using those two functions make us feel empowered and passionate, and is everything an INFP bases themselves off. So when these two functions are kicking in full gear, that gives us a nice rise of inspiration and that feeling of passion and that feeling of drive that unstoppable force that we emit. Now, for an INFP, unfortunately, following a peak of inspiration is a wane of inspiration. And I think these are some explanations of why the waning of inspiration happens. Now, if you think about introverted sensing, when that function isn't well developed, we tend to keep falling back into the old routine of starting a project and then not even finishing it and heading on to different projects. When we find a project or an idea which we are inspired by, we do become an unstoppable force and nothing gets in our way of it. We're completely inspired by it and we feel ultimate passion, more so than probably other types feel when it comes to particular ideas and things. Now, unfortunately, when introverted sensing is not developed, we always find different projects that we're inspired by, and we tend to kind of forget about the project that we were working on. So there are a few examples of me falling into that trap. If you look to my careers video that I had done maybe 2 years ago, I can't even tell you what the name is because I've forgotten, I'm not that well prepared. I talk about how I've changed what I've wanted to do pretty much all through my teenagehood and early adult life. Going from theatre and acting, which I'm still, it still takes a really dear place in my heart. I will always love it. But going from that and studying at uni and doing early childhood and then anthropology and then belly dancing. This is all mixed, by the way. This isn't in chronological order. And never really finding my niche. But it wasn't so much that I didn't find my niche. It's that I've been inspired by all of these different forms of art that help resonate with who I truly am. And I don't know, I guess it was more of what I was in the mood with. Like, whatever inspired me at the time, I felt was the way to go for me. And, but unfortunately, this did result in me not really completing anything. So I feel like my introverted sensing wasn't as well developed as what it is now. Another example is the Joker, which I had painted for my partner's 24th birthday last year. And it only got half done, but we hung it up anyway. And I think it's kind of cool that it's half done because it represents me and how I do my art and how I undergo projects. And another one, of course, is the collage on the wall. It was supposed to be all of my drawings in a collage on the wall. And I was supposed to do this big Goku and Frieza painting. I haven't even thought about it much now. But yeah, that's unfinished too. So I've had a big history of not completing things. I feel now that as I'm growing, my introverted sensing is getting stronger, and because I'm much more aware of it. And with passing my last course, which was travel and tourism, I did that and I fast tracked it as well because I was pregnant at the time. And so I showed myself intense resilience because I had gestational diabetes. My grandma passed away that year as well, and I was about to give birth. So I show myself resilience, and I'm really proud of myself. And it went to show me that that I can develop my introverted sensing. So yeah. Now, I think in terms of extroverted thinking, it can be quite suppressing for an INFP, especially when it's not well developed. Overuse of extroverted thinking can result in burnout for the INFP, and I do think this is where the wane of inspiration happens, and we can become quite melancholic, which follows the feelings of like lack of motivation, not wanting to get out of bed, feeling vulnerable and exposed, and just not wanting to face the world. Like we feel in our shells during this period. And I think during this period, we can use that lack of inspiration to again inspire us, because that period of vulnerability and melancholy can create the most glorious pieces of art. And I have mentioned that in one of my videos, the melancholic moments, if you want to check that out. Now, for the moment, I am in my peak of inspiration. I have been so inspired by my environment. I'm lucky enough to live in the beautiful New Zealand, and there are so many opportunities for my recent vlogs of travel, like travel vlogging. And I'm so lucky that I get this amazing inspirational canvas basically to talk about. Yeah, and I've just been going hard at it, working, like really working my ass off. I mean, I'm not giving much away at the moment, but I got up at 5 a.m. to work on stuff. And then I don't stop until 11 at night. And now I'm sure that there are so many of you out there that do longer hours than that. But, for someone who has a family, that's a good effort for me. And experiencing this kind of resilience has been so empowering for me, and I feel very confident, and it's such a nice feeling to feel. And I wish that I could feel that all the time, but I know that part of life is to experience the peaks and the valleys, and it's to experience the highs and the lows. So, that is a natural part of being a human being, and I believe that it is important to ride those waves. It's actually quite interesting. I attended a Native American sweat lodge a couple of months ago, and my dad, Kealana Richard Two Bears, he runs the sweat lodge. And in the lodge, he had talked about the peaks and the valleys, and it was really nice to have that confirmation that feeling high and low is a normal part of life, and that it is okay to feel high. It's okay to feel low. And it is also okay to seek balance between the two, really. On the boob, off the boob. He's seriously as indecisive as I am. He might be an INFP. So yeah, I believe that it is important for me personally, to find the balance between the highs and the lows, the peaks and the valleys. I'm someone who suffers from cyclothymia, which is a mild form of bipolar. In counselling, I discussed that, for me, finding the balance is what will help me complete the things I want to and help me feel good in myself. Now, I want to know what inspires you, but also what hinders you. And I want to know what the ride of inspiration feels like for you. But for now, I probably need to go because Oscar's getting fussy. So I hope you have a really good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you all again next time. I hope you really like this video. Bye. Oh, did you bump your little head? Did you bump your little head? Where's your flannel? Where's your little flannel? This is a long ass video, but we are going to get through it. Yeah.